and welcome to the Stepping Into Your Calling podcast. It is time to ask yourself the questions you've been avoiding. Am I good enough? Why do I feel so sad? Am I doing everything I can do? Do they hate me? Is there something better for me out there? Whether you're a single woman trying to live a more joyful life, a married woman struggling in your relationship, or a mother trying to be the best parent you can be, this is the podcast for you. The Stepping Into Your Calling podcast is a live workshop style health and fitness podcast packed with actionable steps that will help you live a more fulfilling life. Host Sol Lagunas brings her knowledge as a registered nurse, mother of 3 children, wife, student, and faith-based leader to inspire you to step into your calling without fear. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Stepping Into Your Calling podcast. I am doing something a little different. I'm not going to edit this episode because I feel like every time I edit or think about editing, I get into my own head and I start feeling self-conscious of my voice and how I sound. So I'm just going to skip all that. I'm going to have a conversation with you one-on-one. I'm going to pretend that you're sitting next to me and we're talking about life. And in this particular situation, we're talking about knowing your worth. I feel like I know a lot of ladies who are single moms or single ladies who are working on their careers and focusing on their children. And I want to congratulate you on that because that's very hard. And contrary to what people believe or what they see from the outside, I know that you struggled with the decision to become a single parent. Maybe it wasn't something that you had an option for, or maybe you were just, left in that situation, whether you wanted to be in it or not. And I want to congratulate you because if you are a single mom, then you have proven that you know your worth, that you know that the decision to be a single parent, whether it was an option or not, was the best for your family and for yourself. So congratulations on that. I want to celebrate you because it's a hard decision to make, and it's a hard um lifestyle to hold. It comes with a lot of mixed emotions, to say the least. But anywho, I do want to just say that I was in your shoes prior to being in this wonderful relationship that I'm in now. I was a single mom. I became a single mom the moment I found out I was pregnant. And that was very difficult for me to just walk through the unknown of what I was getting myself into. Let's rewind to the year of 2013. I found out I was pregnant in August of 2013. I found out by myself. I was in my apartment's bedroom and I'm like, you know what? I need to take this pregnancy test because, of course, how does anyone find out that they're pregnant? They take a pregnancy test because they've missed their period. So I'm no different than that. I missed my period and I was like frantic. I'm pretty irregular. So the fact that I didn't have it, or the fact that I couldn't remember when was the last time I had it, was super alarming in my mind. Like I felt like, holy shit, like what's going on? So at the time, I was living with my sister in a 1-bedroom apartment, and I did confide in her that, I haven't had my period. What the hell do I do? And she was like, just walk around, do some exercise. Sometimes it takes a while to come down and blah, 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 you know, whatever. So that happened. And I bought a pregnancy test and I took it. And of course, who the hell waits for that first morning pee. Like I don't remember waiting for the morning pee because I was super anxious about just knowing whether I was or not. So I didn't wait. And oh my God, as soon as I saw the results, my heart sank into my stomach. I was so nervous, so shaky. The first thing that I did was I called my good friend, and she probably remembers this phone call. I called her and I was like, holy shit, I'm pregnant. And she was like, I'll be there right away, you know. Thank God for her. Thank God for friends like that who are willing to drop everything that they have going on just to come and be with you and support you. So, of course, my friend arrives and she is super supportive. She's like so excited for me. At this time, I'm 22 years old. And I was like, okay, fine. Like, let's at least I'm not a teen parent, right? And not throwing any shame at a teen parent, but that was a huge deal at my age. We saw a lot of teen pregnancies and we didn't know about teen pregnancies until we were seeing them happening. So, anywho, I was like, okay, I'm 22. Maybe it's going to be fine. But of course, the main thing was I am not with the baby's father. Like, I was not with him at the time that I found that I was pregnant, which is very ironic. And we were only together for a short amount of time. So I knew at that point I was going to be a difficult conversation to have. But of course, you know, because we were not together and because he had his own life and his own situations, he decided that, you know, it wasn't the time for us to be pregnant. But at that time, I felt confident enough to raise my child by myself. And like I said, some people don't have the option, right? They don't have the option to say, okay, I want to be a single parent or I'm going to fight for this relationship. And I didn't have that option. I was basically told, like, I don't want anything serious. I can't be a father. I think we should not have a child yet. And for me, that was just like affirmation that, you know, I wasn't meant to be with this person, regardless if there was a baby involved or not. And now the fact that, you know, that there is a child growing inside and this person still does not want to commit, that was a clear sign to me that, you know, he's not going to commit regardless of what happens. Regardless if I, you know, flip over and beg him, he's still not going to want to stay. So, whatever. I had my child. Her name is Ellie, and she is such a blessing. She encourages me every single day. She's 9 now, and you know, she's my firstborn, so of course I have like a huge attachment to her, but we struggled together. We struggled as a single mom. I didn't have too much support, but I did have my parents who helped me and helped raise my child. So they consider her their own, which can rub people off the wrong way. But when I became a single mom, I, you know, everything felt like everything was just on my shoulders. There was no other person that I can talk to and tell them my struggles. It was just me, myself, and my baby. And I decided that I would be a single parent because I did not want to beg or convince anyone that I was worth their time or that me and my daughter were worth their time. So if you're a single mom, congratulations for making the decision to put yourself first and put your child first. Because as much as we think that, or as much as culture likes to try and convince us that the best households are the ones with two parents, that's not always true. Our kids are watching everything that we're doing. They are feeling our feelings and they are mimicking our actions. And so if you're unhappy in your relationship, that you're constantly questioning whether you should be in it or not. I want you to know that it's important to know your worth. It's important that you do not try to convince anyone that they should be with you. It's important that you think about how how your child is watching you and how they're perceiving the situation that you're in, because as kids grow, they go through their development. They go from seeing things like as a single person, like I like not a single person, but they think that everything that's going on around them is because of something they did. So they're thinking about how their actions as kids are affecting the world around them. And that's how they initially start thinking until they start to develop and they grow to the point where they understand and they're able to see how other people's actions affect other people versus how their actions affect them. I hope that did not sound too confusing. But going back to what we're talking about. So, yeah, it's hard. I mean, I don't think anyone has a child thinking, okay, I'm going to have a child by myself and raise them by myself without thinking like the ideal situation would be to have a perfect family. And the perfect family includes a mom and a dad, or a mom and a mom, and or a dad and a dad. But in essence, there's two parental figures in the home. And that's not always the case. Like, I could go on and talk about this. I literally was down deep in the emotions of sadness. Like, I was super sad. I don't think I was depressed, but I was always thinking like, "Oh my God, what am I going to tell my child? Oh my God, what am I going to tell her when she grows up and she, knows or finds out that her dad and I did not stay together?" Or those are the things that were occurring to me at the time that I was not given the option to be a single parent. But as time has as time has passed, because time heals everything, as time has passed, I've learned to just tackle each situation as it happens. I don't dwell in the future. I don't think about what if this happens. I worry about what's going on in the present. I live in the present because living in the future just causes me anxiety, to be honest. And it causes me to get depressed and think of things that are not even occurring. Like, how many of us moms do that when we're going through a relationship struggle, or when we're just being a single parent and we have to think for our little ones? So I think that was my biggest motivation, just the fact that I wanted Ellie to see that it is possible to do things on your own without the assistance of somebody else. Granted, if there is assistance, great, that's perfect. I feel like if you have the option to co-parent, it should be done healthy, because kids are watching. Like, your kids are watching what you're doing, how you're behaving, and they absorb those behaviors. They mimic your actions and they feel your feelings. So if you are in a co-parenting situation, the best thing to do is to make it a healthy co-parent situation and taking it day by day. Like, one thing at a time, because again, we can dive into the what ifs. The what if he brings a girlfriend, or what if he has another child with somebody else? I mean, those things are going to cross your mind, but not until they actually cross your path should you be worried about trying to solve them, right? And the only things you can solve are the things that are in your control. So if you're in an unhealthy situation and you are contemplating the option of leaving or staying, really outweigh the risk with the benefits. If it's a partner who is a total narcissist, because I've seen tons of people who are narcissistic or who have narcissistic tendencies, and they still get away with a lot of things in the the partner stays and just suffers through the relationship because of the kids, because that's what we were taught, right? My mom told me that. And not of no offense to her, but she's been married to my dad for almost 40 years. And she has always reminded us, like, oh, I stayed with your dad because of you guys, and da 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 da. But I could question how happy she was going through the struggles with my dad. And I know, like, I learned that through them that the foundation is a to be in a healthy two parent household, and that is what I wanted for my kids. And as much as I tried to have it, it was really out of my control, and I was not willing to make myself or mold myself to the other person's likes and what they wanted me to be, because I was definitely not going to be the person that allowed boundaries to be stepped over and to be told that I was not good enough to just be with, you know? So I started working on myself. I went back to school, and that is really like the core thing, the core belief that I have. When you're a single woman, just try to find what what brings joy to your heart, like honestly, because the happiest kids are the ones that have happiness in their home. And yeah, just trying to find what works for you. Like, what are the things that you like? Like, screw being in a relationship, right? Like, screw trying to find the perfect partner. How about you try finding what makes you truly, truly happy? And that's what I did. I worked on myself. I went back to school. I was trying to do my prereqs to get into the nursing program at the time, and I was enjoying my child. I was enjoying being a single woman, but at the same time being a single mother. And I was doing a lot of things with her, like going shopping, going to restaurants, going to the movies. I was the friend that would be the one carrying her child on the hip whenever I would go hang out with my friends, because none of my friends had children at the time. But that's who I was. And I really dived into like what I really enjoyed and trying to heal from that broken relationship. And without looking, without trying to, find a partner, I bumped into, or Faith had it in place to bump into Rod, who is been my partner since, and I've been with him. It's going to be 8 years already. And we made additional babies, and we went through the struggles as well. But one thing that I will say has been a huge game changer between my past relationships and this relationship that I'm in is the immense amount of support and the fact that we both want this to work out. We both want to be happy in this relationship with each other, not with somebody else, or trying to stir up drama every time we get the opportunity to. We have time and time again told each other, like, if we're not gonna, you know, be with each other, I mean, we shouldn't be in another relationship. It sounds crazy, but we love each other so much. We're willing to work through the problems, and we're willing to work through the struggles. So again, as a one single mom, I want to say, like, I celebrate you because you're so strong. You took the rocks that life was throwing at you and made a house out of it. You built a wall to make you stronger and to really take care of yourself. And if you're struggling to try and figure out like if this is what you need to do, I really recommend that if you're not with a partner that is willing to work through the struggles with you, who's willing to bend a little bit from his views and how he feels, then I would really try and find out what makes you truly happy and what would make your kids truly happy, because it's really not worth staying with someone who is not willing to see your worth. Know your worth, and make sure that that's the driving force of your future relationships, because once we put ourselves first, once we decide that we're going to take care of ourselves, then you're able to get in a relationship that is healthy. You know what you value, so you're able to communicate those values to the person that you're dating, so the partner that comes along and is willing to try and get to know you. You have boundaries that you have set because you know those are the things that bother you or the things that you're not going to tolerate, because you have taken the time to really dive into what makes you happy. So this person that comes along is going to know your values, your views, your boundaries, what you're willing to accept or not accept. And they are going to accept you or say, never mind, I'll continue looking. And you're going to save yourself a lot of grief, a lot of drama, a lot of struggles, and really dive into a relationship that's meaningful, that gives you value. And of course, we have to think about our kids because they are the ones that are watching us and seeing us. So if you dive into a new and healthier relationship, how is your child not going to appreciate that person that has made you or brought joy into your life? It's nearly impossible. Ellie loves her dad, and that's the only father figure that she has had. So she loves him. She worries about him. She is a total daddy's girl when it comes to like, you know, hey, what about dad? Like, what about, is he gonna eat, or what time is he gonna get home? Is he okay? Like, those are the things that my 9-year-old daughter asks. And if you were to ask me like back then what I envisioned for both of us, it was exactly this. It was exactly finding a partner who was willing to accept me with my child and who was willing to be a father figure for her, and a good one, not just any father figure, because father figure could be someone who comes every other month or every other week. But truly, a father is one that helps raise the child with you, and Rod has done more than just that. And he considers her his own. So I couldn't have asked for anything better. And I only wish that back then I had a friend or a parental figure or an older uh, person tell me that everything was going to be okay. And of course, I had friends that would tell me that, but they were not going through what I was going through. They were not going through raising a child by themselves. So I really didn't, take in their advice as much as I wanted to. I would listen to them and they would tell me everything's going to be okay. But it was hard for me to believe it because they were not going through what I was going through, or they hadn't gone through what I went through. So, with that being said, I wish I had a single parent or a single mom who would tell me that everything was going to be okay, that your child was going to be happier without the struggles of the old relationship or the struggles of the person that didn't want to be with you or didn't know your worth. So I want to be that person for you. I want to congratulate you for taking this huge responsibility to raise your child by yourself. I want to congratulate you for knowing that you are worth the attention, the love, the joy that comes with life. And I want to congratulate you on being the best parent that you can be. You are literally taking on two roles by yourself, and your kids are watching you and they're watching how mommy is holding down the fort, how she's providing for both of you, and how she's doing it with a smile. So congratulate congratulations on that, and continue working on yourself. Continue to do the things that fulfill your heart. Do the things that make you smile every single day. Do not dwell in the future. Don't think about the what ifs or the things that are not happening yet. Remember, they can cross our minds, but until they cross your path, do not put any attention to it. I really hope that you enjoyed this small, different episode. I'm gonna try to not sound too monotone. I feel like this is why I love Rod too, because he will tell me like, "Are you okay? Why did you sound so like black and white?" Like he can't tell my personality through my microphone. And I love it that he can tell me things like this without worrying about hurting my feelings, because my feelings don't get hurt easily. And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna try to like be myself a little bit and just say how I feel and say what I'm thinking without filtering it too much, because I do filter stuff. I don't like to swear. I don't like to mess up or say ums and buts and la la la, whatever. So I write things down and then I end up sounding like a robot. So I apologize for that. I'm going to try to be a little bit more warm and have a little bit more personality. But I really hope you enjoyed this episode. Share it with a friend. And if you have a friend who's going through a single parent season in their life, share this episode, because I want to congratulate them for doing this alone, because we need that support. We need to be that friend that tells us it's going to be okay, because they have gone through it and because they were okay at the end of it all. So, and if you're a single mom, make sure that you continue this conversation onto the Facebook group so we can celebrate you for being an awesome mom, for holding on the fort, and for being the bestest parent in the world, because I really do admire those women who have been through the trials and tribulations of life and have came out stronger in the end. So congratulations. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye. I am so happy you just finished listening to that podcast. If you don't mind, after this is done, go and rate the podcast. That's the only way more people are going to be able to get reached, more knowledge is going to be spread, and more lives are going to be changed. So if you don't mind doing that favor for me, I would appreciate you. I already appreciate you for listening to this podcast. I love you so much. Thank you for being such a great person and super supportive. I cannot wait for you to listen to the next one. Till then, have a good day.